So I was looking on Reddit the other day, and I noticed all of these posts asking, what do women find attractive in men? And over and over again, I would see the same thing, hands. Also, from personal experience, I've noticed that people really do like a nice looking set of hands. So this exercise is really gonna, so that's the point of this exercise, to really get our hands looking as good as we can. If you're into like looks maxing stuff at all, you probably already know, but use sunscreen, keep your fingernails short and clean, and take care of your nail beds. I won't really be talking about that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing a exercise that's really going to get blood flow to our hands and to our forearms. You can think of it sort of like when you do bicep curls and you get that pump in your bicep. We want that same sort of effect in our hands to keep them looking young and healthy and strong. So coming into a tabletop position, knees in our hips, hands underneath the shoulders. If this exercise is too intense for you, you may want to lean your hips back towards your heels a little bit, but you can start in this position and see how it feels. So, with your middle finger pointed towards the top of our mat, I want you just to come up onto the knuckle ridges of our hands, lifting our palms up, or the heels of our palms up, I should say. We're going to come up slowly, come down slowly, up slowly, down slowly. We've done three. We're going to do 17 more. Now 16. The tendency here is to want to lean back and take weight off the hands. Try to avoid that as much as possible. I know it's sort of inevitable, but try your best. Your forearms, hands should be kind of trying to burn a little bit. I know mine are. Just keep going for a few more. 5 more. And cool. Coming off your hands for a second, give them a break, kind of move them around. Whew. Okay, cool. So as you've noticed, that worked the inside of our forearms quite a bit. So now we're going to work the back of our hands, opposite side of the forearms. This is where we're going to get most of the aesthetic benefits of hand exercises like these. So coming back down to a tabletop position, we first want to take your hands palm side up, facing the middle. Jesus Christ. So coming to tabletop, we first want to take our hands palm side up and fingertips pointing towards the middle. From here, I want you to bend your arms a little bit and then make a fist, doing your best to keep the back of your hand down against the mat. As we do this, I want you to straighten your arms, and you'll notice a pretty intense stretch on the backs of your wrists. Don't go too far because it's pretty intense. Then I want you to bend again and open your hands up, open your palms. So again, make a fist, straighten your arms to the best of your ability, and then bend, let it go. And again, making a fist, pushing down into the backs of your hands, straightening your arms to the best of your ability, letting it go. I'm going to do 5 more of these. Let it go. Making a fist, squeezing, straightening your arms. Let it go. So you're just going to do 2 more. Making a fist, straightening your arms, letting it go. And last one, making a fist, straightening your arm, and then letting it go. Cool. And let's get off our hands again. From here, you might notice your hands are even starting now to pump up. I see veins and muscles, and it feels differently. From here, we're going to be working on just a little bit of more hand activation. We'll be doing a floating tabletop. So coming down to your wrists if they feel ready to be worked again. This time I like to have my index finger pointed forward just to give me more room in my shoulders. In yoga, there are things called bandha, the locks. Um, Mostly we talk about the Mula Bandha. It's probably the most well known and most well most done in yoga. But I guess the one in your hand does too. So there's a bandha in the middle of our hand. You can think about this indentation in the middle of our palm that happens when we place our hands on the mat and we are squeezing, grabbing the mat like we're trying to pick it up. You'll notice that the entire palm is flat and you'll feel a bit of a suction cup sort of feeling in the middle of your palm. That's when you know you're doing it right. You can think about trying to pick up your fingers one at a time. You'll notice that they shouldn't move. From here, I want you to tuck your toes underneath in this tabletop position, and then just lift your knees up 1 or 2 inches off the ground. Thinking about hugging your forearms in together to turn on your pecs, doming the upper back, spreading across the shoulder blades, drawing your ribs and navel in, squeezing your butt slightly, adducting your inner thighs together. I like to sneak in a little bit of core whenever I can. And this is a really good exercise just for general hand strengthening and form stability stuff. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths, maybe 7. I don't know. If you need to put your knees down, feel free, but try your best just to work through it. Again, thinking about using your shoulders and your lats and your pecs, everything to help you, or help your hands keep you up. Cool. So our next inhale, exhale, let's drop our knees, and take a break from our hands. Cool. And finally, we're gonna do something that's not directly aesthetically beneficial to our hands, but I believe it will help with the overall hand health and the quality of things we produce with our hands. So our hands are actually extensions of our heart chakra. All this extends out into our fingertips, and our heart chakra is really responsible for the things that we love and want to give to the world and what we want to take in from the world. And it's very important we keep this connection and flow of energy going as well as we can. So we'll be coming to a pose called Anahatasana. It's a shoulder opener, sort of. We'll start from a tabletop position, walking your hands as far forward as we can. Again, if you want to make this pose a little bit easier, you can scoot your hips back. Thinking about our chest eventually dropping to the ground, but for this class, let's just drop our forehead to the ground. I want you to still thinking about gripping the mat with your fingertips, but now also pulling the mat as if you're trying to pull the mat back towards your feet. Breathing here, spreading across the shoulder blades, drawing the ribs and navel slightly in. If the forehead is too easy, you can come to your chin, or if you're super open, you can come to your chest. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. Keep pulling the mat back behind you. One more inhale. Then our exhale, let's slowly come out of that, walking our butt back towards our heels, coming into a child's pose with our toes touching and knees together. I want you to bring your arms back down by your feet so they're all basically in one line. Just taking a second here to notice the sensation of blood flowing from your shoulders, through your forearms, down through your fingertips, feeling that new energy from your heart chakra. And cool. That's the class. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.